When the dust begins to settle and the battlefield is cold, when the weak have all surrendered and the brave grow old, there remains a single shadow standing tall against the night, the one who kept on fighting through every endless fight. I remember every battle, every scar across my skin, every war I fought in silence, every storm I fought within. There were nights of endless darkness, where hope was hard to find, where the road ahead was shattered and the mountain crushed my mind. But something in my spirit refused to disappear. A voice inside kept whispering, your destiny is here. Hear the thunder in my heartbeat, feel the lightning in my veins. Every war that tried to break me only strengthened my domain. I am the last man standing, the fire that won't fade. Through the storms and through the battles, a legend has been made. When the world collapsed around me, I refuse to run or bend, because warriors keep fighting until the very end. Last man standing, last man alive, through the darkness and the chaos, I rise. Every doubt became a hammer, every fear became a blade, shaping something far more powerful than the man I once portrayed. They tried to break my spirit, tried to bury every dream, but pressure builds the warriors from the darkest things unseen. Every step became a promise, every fall became a guide, and the fire inside my chest became impossible to hide. the chaos I rise. When the final story's told, the world will remember the warrior who never let go. There's a moment in every life when the silence starts to break, when the weight upon your shoulders is more than you can take. The road feels endless, the night feels cold, and the dreams you once believed in feel impossible to hold. But deep inside the darkness, where doubt and fear collide, a giant waits patiently for the moment he will rise. Walking lonely with the world against my name. Every failure felt like thunder, every loss a burning flame. People whisper from the shadows, saying I would never climb. But mountains were not built to stop me, they were built to test my mind. Every scar became a lesson, every fall became a guide, and the fire inside my spirit refused to stay ignited. Hear the thunder in the distance, feel the power in my chest. Every battle that I suffered was preparing me for this. This is the moment when giants rise, when fire awakens inside their eyes, when the weight of the world turns into strength, and the warrior stands at full length. This is the moment the stars arise, because legends are born when giants rise. There were nights I maybe faded, when the sky refused to shine, when the road ahead was hidden and hope was hard to find. But greatness grows in darkness, where the brave refuse to fall. When the world becomes a prison, they become the storm instead of the wall. Every step became a promise, every breath became a vow, that the man they tried to bury would become unstoppable now. Hear the ground begin to tremble, feel the lightning in my veins. Every storm that tried to break me now runs inside my Every titan once was small, but the ones who changed the world are the ones who never There's a moment in every life. There's a moment in every life. There's a moment. There's a moment. There's a There's a moment in every There's a moment in every life when the silence starts to break, when the weight upon your shoulders is more than you can take. The road feels endless, the night feels cold, and the dreams you once believed in feel impossible to hold. But deep inside the darkness, where doubt and fear collide, a giant waits patiently for the moment he will rise. Against my name, every failure felt like thunder, every loss a burning flame. People whispered from the shadows, saying I would never climb, but mountains were not built to stop me. They were built to test my mind. lesson. Every fall became a guide, and the fire inside my spirit refused to stay denied. Hear the thunder in the distance, feel the power in my chest. Every battle that I suffered was preparing me for this. This is a moment when giants rise, when fire awakens inside their eyes, when the weight of the world turns into strength, and the warrior stands and for life. This is a moment the storm rise, because the legends are born when giants rise. There were nights I nearly faded, when the sky refused to shine, when the road ahead was hidden, and hope was hard to find. But greatness grows in darkness, where the brave refuse to fall. When the world becomes a prison, they become the storm instead of the wall. Every step became a promise, every breath became a vow, that the man they tried to bury would become unstoppable now. Hear the ground begin to tremble, feel the lightning in my veins. Every storm that tried to break me now runs inside my veins. This is a moment when giants rise, when thunder awakens inside their eyes, when pain becomes power and fear becomes flame, and the warrior stands unbroken inside. The moment the storm arrives, and the world will remember the day the giants History remembers the fearless, the ones who never ran, the ones who kept climbing when they could barely stand. Every legend once was broken, every titan once was small, but the ones who changed the world are the ones who never This is a moment when giants rise. First ladies burn. legend begins as a whisper. Every king begins unknown. But when the giant Philae rises, he claims the throne. Some are born to follow. Some are born to fade. Some are trapped in comfort, afraid of the blade. But somewhere in the silence, a different soul awakes. The one who bends the future. The one who never breaks. Through storms of doubt, through valleys made of fear, where every road was darker and every end seemed near. But something in my spirit refused to stay below. A voice inside kept whispering, you were built to grow. They tried to case a lion, they tried to kill the flame, but pressure makes the warrior, and struggle builds a name. Hear the thunder in my heartbeat, feel the lightning in my soul. Every step I take now brings me closer to control. I was born to dominate, born to rise above. Feel the fire on the mission, every pain I learned to love. When the world says stop, I accelerate, because the ones who rule the future are the ones who dominate. Born to dominate, born to conquer fate. Every battle that I fight only makes me great. I remember every struggle, every moment of despair, when the mountain felt impossible and no one seemed to care. The greatness grows in silence, where discipline is king, where the warrior trains alone while others chase a dream. Every rip became a promise, every fall became a guide, and the man I am becoming cannot be denied. Now the thunder goes louder, and the rubber needs my skin. Every war I fought in darkness reminds me I can win. I was born to dominate, born to rise above. Through the fire ones who never ran, the ones who climbed the highest peaks when no one else could stand. Every legend starts in darkness, every titan starts alone, but the ones who conquer everything build their own Some wait for permission, some wait for a sign, but the rulers of tomorrow decide the time. The world is cold, the road is cruel, it breaks the timid and sharpens the fueled. There are two kinds of souls when the storm arrives: the ones who collapse and the ones who the weight on my chest, the nights without sleep, the endless test, every doubt in the mirror, every whisper of fear, every voice in the darkness saying you don't belong here. But pain is a teacher, and pressure builds steel, and the fire of discipline is something you feel. Hear the thunder in my bones, feel the power in my breath. Every battle that I fight is a war against death. No mercy for weakness, no mercy for fear. The warrior awakens when the battle is near. Break the chains, burn the lies, let the fire rise, because the legends are born with weakest guys. No mercy, no mercy for weakness. Every mountain before me, every storm in the sky, every wall they created was just something to climb. They said I would crumble, said I'd never survive, but the beast in my spirit Discipline built the throne, and the man in the mirror is no longer alone. Hear the ground start to tremble, feel the rage in my veins. Every scar that I carry ignites the flames. No mercy for weakness, no mercy for doubt. When a warrior rises, there is no way out. Break the chains, break the cage, let the lion engage, because legends are forged in the fire of rage. No mercy, no mercy, no mercy for weakness. To the strong, history remembers the ones who stood long, the ones who kept climbing when hope disappeared, the ones who kept fighting when death was near. When the end is near, no mercy, no surrender, no mercy, no fear, no mercy. In a world built on struggle, the weak beg for mercy, but the warrior from the ashes of the broken, from the ruins of the past, rises something far more powerful, a soul that's built to last. Every chain that tried to bind you, every shadow that you faced, was a hammer striking iron, shaping who you are today. I walked a road of silence, where the weak begin to fall, where every step feels heavier, with your back against the wall. Every voice that tried to doubt me, every hand that pushed me down, only built the throne of iron, where one day I'd wear the crown. Pain became the teacher, failure carved the steel. live in the struggle, where the sky refused to shine, where the road ahead was hidden, and the mountain seemed to climb. But greatness lives in darkness, where the brave decide to stand. When the storm becomes a prison, they become the storm instead. Every breath became a promise, every step became a vow, that the man they tried to bury would become unstoppable now. Hear the ground begin to tremble, feel the lightning in my veins. Every scarred life delivered, turn my weakness into flames. Rise of the iron soul, honey break the bullet strong. Through the fire and the thunder, I've been forged all alone. Strike me down again, hear the lion roar, because warriors are born from the heart of war. Rise of the iron soul, feel the power unfold. Through the storms and through the battles, the legend takes hold. Legends are not given crowns, they earn them in the flame. Every scar is proof of battle, every wound the mark of fame. When the world collapses around you, when the sky begins to fall, that is when the Iron Spirit rises over destiny is told in a world of fragile spirits, where the weak begin to fall. The iron soul keeps rising above it all. Listen close to the silence. Hear the rhythm in the dark. That is not the sound of weakness. That is a warrior spark. Every drop of blood and sweat, every tear you try to hide, is the furnace of the legend, burning deep inside. Sleeping softly, but I was making plans. Every rep was like a promise, every breath a battle cry. Every failure fed the hunger that refused to die. They said the road was endless, said the climb would break my soul, but mountains only exist for the brave enough to roll. Hear the thunder in my heartbeat, feel the lightning in my brain. Every scar that life has given now runs inside my veins. There's a fire inside my veins, burning brighter every day. Through the struggle and the pain, it will never fade away. But the world says you are done, and the darkness starts to reign. I ignite the stove again with the fire inside my veins. Every step I take is a step toward control. Through the blood and through the flame, there's a fire inside my veins. Through storms of failure with the weight upon my chest, but pressure builds the warriors who refuse to rest. Every doubt became a hammer, every fear became a blade, shaping something stronger than the man I used to be made. They tried to dim the lightning, tried to bury every spark, but the brightest flames in history were born inside the dark. Now the thunder grows louder, yeah, the roar beneath my skin. Every war I fought within me reminds me I can win. There's a fire inside my veins, burning brighter every day. Through the struggle and the pain, it will never fade away. When the world says you are done, and the darkness starts to reign, reignite the storm again. The fire inside my veins, fire inside my veins, fire inside my soul. Every drop of sacrifice is what makes a spirit whole. Through the blood and through the flame, there's a fire inside my veins. Greatness is not ease. It is waking up in darkness when the world is on its knees. It is lifting every burden. It is fighting every fear. It is standing tall in battle when the end feels near. There's a fire inside my veins, and it's stronger every day. Through the chaos and the pain, it will never fade away. When the night becomes a prison and the shadows try to reign, I will break the walls again with the fire inside my veins. Fire inside my veins. Fire inside my soul. Every war I fought alone only made me whole. Through the blood and through the flame, there's a fire inside my veins. The world will try to stop you. It will try to break your flame. But the ones who rule the future are the ones with fire in their veins. Hear the drums in the distance, like thunder in the sky. A million voices whisper, this is where legends rise. Every road that broke your spirit, every scar upon your soul, was never meant to stop you. It was meant to make you whole. I was born in the chaos, raised inside the fight, where the weak begin to crumble and the brave ignite. Every wall they built around me, every chain they tried to bind, only sharpened the blade that was hidden in my mind. I remember every battle, every night I stood alone, but the fire in my chest turned the Tried to silence every dream, but pressure builds the diamonds from the darkest things unseen. Every step became a promise, every breath became a vow, that the boy they once laughed at would become unstoppable now. I conquer storms of failure with the lightning in my eyes, and every time I fell, I came back twice the size. Hear the ground begin to tremble, feel the fire in my veins. Every battle that I conquered turned my weakness into flames. I was built for war, fortune burning steel. Every scar I carry is a weapon I can feel. Break my bones again, hear the lion roar, because warriors are born when they're built for war. Built for war, built for fire, built for fire, built to climb higher and higher, through the blood and through the storm. I was built for war. The battlefield is calling, and the sky begins to burn. Every scar you ever suffered was a lesson you had to learn. Legends are not chosen, they are carved in pain and flame, and the ones who rise forever are the ones who play the game. Hear the drums in the distance, like thunder in the sky. A million voices whisper, this is where legends rise. the silence before the storm, when the sky is cold and gray, there's a voice inside the darkness saying, don't you fade away. Every tear you tried to hide, every wound you tried to heal, every scar that life has given is the blade of tempered steel. The world will try to break you, try to steal your flame again, but legends rise forever when they rise beyond the pain. December nights, when hope was hard to find, when every step felt heavier, with mountains in my mind. I carried doubt like armor, I carried fear like chains, but deep inside a warrior was dancing in the flames. They said that I was finished, said that I was far too weak, but the fire in my spirit was something they couldn't defeat. Hear the thunder in my heartbeat, feel the lightning in my veins. Every storm that tried to break me only taught me how to reign. Rise beyond the pain, rise beyond the scars. Every broken dream can ignite the stars. When the wall says fall, stand and scream again, because war is our born. When they rise beyond the pain, the road was never gentle, the crime was never fair, the greatness lives forever in the ones who dare. Every drop of sweat and blood was a promise carved in stone, that no matter what they took from me, I'd build my own throne. I saw the edge of darkness, I felt the weight of despair, but something in my spirit refused to leave me there. Now the thunder grows louder, hear the roar beneath my skin. Every battle that I survived reminds me I can rise beyond the pain, rise beyond the scars. Every shattered dream can awaken stars. When the night feels endless and the road feels thin, remember who you are and rise again. Rise beyond the pain, rise beyond the pain, rise beyond the chains. Every storm you conquer runs inside your veins. Through the fire and rain, through the endless strain, we were never meant to fall. We were meant to rise again. Some nights the weight is heavy, some nights the sky is dark, but even the smallest flame can ignite the strongest spark. Every legend you remember, every hero you admire was once a soul surrounded The night was cold, the wind was sharp, the world stood silent in the dark. But somewhere deep inside my chest, a lion woke that would not rest. They tried to bury my ambition, tried to silence every dream, but pressure builds the strongest diamonds from the darkest things unseen. Remember every whisper, every laugh behind my back, every voice that tried to tell me I was walking the wrong track. They never saw the fire that was raging in my bones, never felt the storm inside me, my demons by my side, but every war Every legend once was small, but the ones who rise forever are the ones who never fall. I built my throne from failures, from the ashes of defeat, and every step that tried to stop me now lies shattered at my feet. I am the king you cannot kill, the storm inside the night, the flame that keeps on burning through every single fight, through the darkness, through the pain, through the endless battlefield. You may strike 1,000 times, but a warrior never yields. I am the king you cannot kill, the ruler of my fate, and everyone that stands before me will only make me great. Crowns are not given, they are taken in war. And tonight the world remembers the day you cannot kill. In the silence of the night, when the world is fast asleep, there's a fire in my chest, and it burns too deep. Every scar upon my skin, every battle that I fought, every moment they doubted me was another lesson taught. The mirror shows the truth tonight, a warrior staring back, not the boy who once was broken, but the man who stayed on track. I walk through storms alone, with thunder in my veins. Every failure caught the lesson, every loss ignited flames. They said I'd never make it, said I'd crumble in the end, but the iron in my steering would refuse to bend. I carried mountains on my shoulders, through the darkness and the pain. Every drop of sweat and blood was never spilled in vain. Now the ground begins to tremble, hear the thunder in my soul. Every The darkness whispered lies, but the hunger in my spirit burned like 1,000 skies. Every doubt became my fuel, every scar became my shield. Every time the world pushed back, I refused to yield. I climbed the walls of failure with bleeding hands and pride, and the voice inside kept screaming, there's a giant locked inside. Now the thunder grows louder, hear the roar beneath my skin. Every demon that I buried now reminds me I can win. I was forged in the fire, tempered in the pain, built for shattered pieces, rising once again through the ashes of my weakness, through the storm and through the flame. I became the storm itself, and the world will know my name. Forged in the fire, stronger every day. The road was never easy, but I carved my own way. In the forge of broken dreams, where the strongest souls are made, I became the fire itself, and I was never afraid. Listen, they told you to quit. They told you it was too heavy, too hard, too painful, but they forgot one thing: unmoved, right, unbreakable. In the cold light of the morning, when the world is still asleep, I'm already chasing greatness while the weak stay buried deep. Every dream I ever carried was a mountain in my way, but the fire in my spirit burned a path through every day. They never saw the hunger that was living in my veins. They never felt the thunder that was rising from my pain. Every insult that they threw, every doubt they tried to grow, turned the boy inside my chest into something they don't know. Yeah! The iron never listens, the Bible never lies. You either rise a warrior or a coward slowly dies. The pain becomes the teacher, the struggle is the guide, and deep inside the darkness, resurrection comes alive. I will never fall. Screaming to the sky, let the whole world hear the call. Talkable, stronger every day. Every drop of blood and sweat built the man I am today. I will never fall. Can you feel the fire burn? Every loss I ever faced was a lesson I pain became my battlefield, the waste became my war. Every rapid declaration, I am something so much more. When the muscles start to tremble, when the lungs begin to scream, that's the moment where the weak abandon every dream. But not me, no. That's the moment I awaken, that's the moment I ignite. Because pain is just the doorway to the warrior's true might. Come on! One more rep, one more set. You didn't come this far just to quit yet. Scream, fight, fight, scream, fight, 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 fight. Every scar upon my body is a story of my fight. Every failure that I tasted turned my darkness into light. I remember nights of doubt when the road was hard to see, but the voice inside my chest screamed the truth of what I'd be. Not a victim, not defeated, not a man who runs away, but a titan built from discipline who conquers every day. Listen, the body breaks, the lungs burn, the muscles scream, but the mind becomes a weapon when the world says stop. You say, louder, louder, louder. Scream into the sky, let the whole world hear the call. Like a bull, stronger every day. Every drop of blood is wet. Build the man I am today. Unrockable. Can you feel the fire burn? Every loss I ever faced was a lesson I returned. Screaming one more time, I was built for war and the war is mine. Louder, louder, screaming. Louder, 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 unbreakable. Louder, louder, screaming. Unbreakable. No chance can hold me down, no limits take control. Unbreakable. The warrior awakes. Every drop of fat and blood is the grace that greatness takes. Unbreakable. The legend will be born from the darkness of the struggle. A new king is born. Screaming one last time, I will never fall. And this world is mine. I hear the thunder in my chest, I hear the iron call my name. This is where the weak turn back, but I was never made to quit. And the world is cold and gray, there's a voice inside my spirit screaming louder every day. Every failure that I tasted, every night I stood alone, every tear became the fuel for the king upon the throne. They laughed at my ambition, they doubted every dream, truth. You either rise in power or surrender in your youth. I chose the road of fire, the war inside my mind, because a crown of greatness is not for the weak to find. No pain, no cross, screaming. No blood, no glory, screaming. No blood, no glory, war. No victory. I was born to fight, I was born to rise, I was born to conquer every limit in my life. No pain, no crown, screaming loud tonight. The king is built in darkness, the legend in the fight. The gym is my cathedral, the Bible is my cross. Every drop of sweat I spill reminds me of the cost. The weak will chase excuses, the strong will chase the pain, because beyond the suffering a warrior remains. Every rap a declaration, every set a battle cry. I bury all my weakness every time the waves rise high. The fire in my bloodstream burns hotter than before. I'm not the man I once was, I'm something so much more. Come on! One more rep. One more set. You didn't come this far just to break it. Scream it! No! Pain! No! Prove! No! Prove! No! Prove! No! There were nights I almost broke, there were days I almost fell, but the demons that I conquered turned my weakness into steel. Discipline became my armor, sacrifice became my sword. Now the battlefield is open and my destiny is war. I see the